G'day Hexers and welcome to the, video. I'm Havoc and today we're going to be doing a sealed lesson number 1 and I've got two guests with me today. They are Limekiller and Geoquake. Just introduce yourselves if you guys would like. Starting with Limekiller.
Howdy.
Go. Let me ask you guys, okay, so Limekiller, how long have you been playing Hex 4?
I've been playing Hex only since last summer, really. I backed it as a Kickstarter because I was a WoW TCG player. Tried it in alpha, didn't really care for it at all, and then just got to playing other things, and didn't play it again until last summer when Gameforge sent out the login or we delete your account email.
Right. Yeah, so, and Geoquake, how long have you been playing Hex 4?
About a week. I don't even think like completely, like 5 or 6 days around there. And
So-
I played like 2 days long ago during like Stars of War and Hero 4.
Yep. All right. So just a quick, just so people know what's going on. So what we're doing here today is we've opened a sealed pool, and using Kismet packs because that's what the Clash is currently using is Kismet packs, and the stream is designed to, help you get better at sealed basically. So we're going to have 3 different perspectives here today. Myself, so I'm Havoc. I've been playing Hex now since the beginning, since Alpha, most of you probably already know me. But if you don't, I've been playing since the beginning. We've got Limekiller, who has been on a pretty large break, but has decent enough experience. And then we've got Geoquake, not even a week, but he does have a decent amount of card game experience. He says he's played pretty much every card game around, but almost. So what we're going to now start off with is looking at, let me actually get this up on the screen here. We're going to start by looking at the 6 packs that we opened. Now, as I said, they are going to be Kismet packs because the Clash, the $1,000 tournament that happens every weekend, is using those packs, so it is a lot more relevant. So let me first get that up. So we're going to remove that logo. Let's grab the slideshow here. Now, there's a slideshow, so they're going to display for about 10 seconds. Now, one thing you can do, if you're watching via YouTube, feel free to pause and mark down all the cards, and then if you would like, build a deck. Build what you think is correct from these 6 packs. So you're going to see the 6 packs here. They're going to cycle through. So build, if you'd like, you don't have to, of course, but if you'd like to, you can build your own deck based on these packs, and then you'll be able to compare with what we've done afterwards, and just that way you can see, did you do something completely different from us 3? Did you get on the same lines as any of us? And that sort of stuff. So first, what was your guys' initial opinions on these packs? What was the first thing that stood out to you? So Limekiller.
That they weren't particularly good in general. The rares didn't strike me as particularly amazing. And there didn't seem to be any obvious, oh wow, we have to do this, this, and this in the packs, so I had to look closer and try and figure out what the heck I was going to do with this thing. There were about 3 colors I ended up looking at, and obviously went with 2 of them.
Yep.
No, I didn't do the Darmak Uzu.
So I think we can all agree that Blood was not viable, and just not, there was not even enough cards to even consider it as a secondary, and they weren't of any quality anyway, so I assume that was the same for you guys?
There was Aramite and Call the Week, and that's about it.
Yeah, there was.
If Hex would be a country, Blood would be the United States right now.
Alright, so yeah, Blood, not viable. I ruled that out pretty quickly. And then my second one to rule out, I actually ruled out Ruby very quickly. Even though it does, looking at the current pack we see here, we've got Fierce Justicar, Gambler, Transmuter, and Burning Tendrils. They're all playable cards, but then as you come to this next pack, there's nothing in that one. Kindler's okay, I guess that's something, but there's nothing else there that you would really want to run. Coming on to the next pack here, you've got Arena Regular. It just wasn't really enough, so I ruled that one out pretty quickly myself. So overall, I was looking, I honestly, when it came to Wild, I did actually miss that there was a Chomp Knight, but I did actually then rule that one out third. I was like, you know what? The Diamond and Sapphire to me, the Sapphire to me is the strongest. Would you guys agree? Well, actually, I guess I'll just say I was Sapphire Diamond. Geoquake, you ended up with Wild Diamond?
Sapphire Wild. No, Diamond Wild.
Yep, and Limekiller went. What was it?
Wild Sapphire.
So we all actually did something different, which is interesting and good. But yeah, so I figured Sapphire. Well, I guess honestly, Diamond has a lot of good stuff too. But they in my eyes were the two strongest, just because of the cards they brought to the table. So we've got Sapphire with some good removal. Really good card draw with Consult the Talon was one of the cards I was happy to see, especially when you've got things like, there we go. So we see that pack there. That pack was insane for Sapphire. You got Cultivator, Infiltrator, and Consult the Talon. 3 very strong cards right off the bat. And then Incubation Webs in the next pack here with a Duskwing, 2 very strong cards as well. I did consider the Savant, but whatever. So, I guess I'll ask you, Geoquake. Well, I guess maybe we should just get into the deck, shall we? So that's probably enough time to have a look at the packs for those of you wanting to look at them. So first we'll start with you guys. So let me bring up this window here. So we've got this is Geoquake. So he went for Wild Sapphire. So I do agree. I mean, I'm happy to see that you went Sapphire because I do think that Sapphire had some of the strongest cards. And honestly, the main thing from that was Consult the Talent. It's just a very, very powerful draw 3 for
Wild
for
Sapphire
one.
was me, not Geoquake.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, my bad. So, let me actually just scroll
I
down
was the
here.
dumbass.
No, I mean, it's not wrong. But I feel that Sapphire was one of the stronger colors, but that's not necessarily
No, I mean,
the
you're
case.
right. Like, we had 2 Evaporates, which is like one of my favorite card designs ever.
Yeah, I mean,
and I would play 2 whenever I can, but
yeah, I would run both of those if I was Winter Moon, like if I was going to do a Sapphire Wild like Limekiller's done here. So tell us about. Well, let me actually see. Can I sort this by cost? I don't even know if you can on this.
Up at the top, there's a little
Yep, I see
tab
it.
for
Yep.
cost.
Yep. I found it. So here we go. So let me just see what I'm capturing here. So he's gone for Rico as the champion. So yeah, tell us about what was your what made you go the Sapphire Wild as opposed to say something else.
Well, like you, I X'd out Blood and Ruby pretty quickly, and then it was looking at the other 3, and I seriously considered Diamond, but I agree that I thought that the Sapphire had the individual best cards in it, and a lot of them seemed to be Spider and Dreadling related, so there wasn't a whole lot in Diamond that kind of went with that, and looking through the Wild, I saw the 2 puffballs to go with it in the Wild's favor. So I figured, okay, let's take a look at doing something Dreadling related and build from there. And then the choice came down to either doing it with Furico and planning a big burst turn, like turn 7, play Wild's favor, hero power, swing with puffball, etc. for a bazillion damage at once. Or go Winter Moon, where you can cycle the Eager Lackey, cycle the Shackling Strands, and all of the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be correct to do the Winter Moon instead of the Furico, but this was just the way I decided to do it because I wanted that big burst.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I probably did discount Wild a bit too soon because there is actually, I didn't even realize those 2 puffballs, but honestly, I mean, I guess, with the Wild's favor, it's fine. The Cultivators is good, but, I think I would still maybe stick with my what I went for, but I do like what you've got there. In terms of Furico and Winter Moon, that is a tough choice with this because I mean the value from Winter Moon is it just wins late games, especially when you got something like Malvoker, because then you just keep cycling your Evaporates, your Lackeys, your the Malvoker itself to get it back, all your actions, your Incubation Webs, like that's a great card to keep cycling. Even Consult, and then you got Consult.
Yeah, if I was going to go Winter Moon, I wouldn't run the Spring Renewal, and I would put in 1 more shard.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I wouldn't. If I was to go Winter Moon, I wouldn't probably bother with Spring Renewal either. I mean, yeah, I definitely wouldn't. I guess we can't really see what else there was in terms of Sapphire Wild, but in the future we'll be able to look at that sort of stuff. But yeah, overall, I think that's all right. Yeah, so Smash Magic. So in terms of curve, I guess we can't really see that, can we? Well, I guess we can see up here the analysis. So,
yeah, we got most of the 2-drop slot. 3's a little light. But I figure even though there's some stuff at the high end of the curve at 4 and 5, I've got the 2 live lyricists for pseudo ramp at least.
Yeah, no, I think your curve's fine. Your curve's perfectly fine, especially since you've got something like Eager Lackey, and you've got early interaction. Cultivator's a great early drop. You've actually got 2 lyricists. I didn't even realize there's 2 of those. So yeah, you've got it's pretty decent. And then obviously you've got the ways in which you can get that Smash Magus bigger as well. So not bad overall. I think that's definitely a decent choice there. Let's have a look at what Geoquake's done. So he's gone for something different. Let me change that over. Here we go. So he's gone for Diamond Wild. So he didn't go for the Sapphire. But, so the Diamond bringing to the table there, you can see the differences straight off the bat of what he, we can quickly have a look there. In terms of Sapphire, if we look at what Limekiller's got, he's actually brought both Evaporates in, I didn't realize. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Sapphire cards, so I think that's right. But yeah, so then we can see that, how many Diamond cards do you have here? Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, oh no, 12, 13. So yeah, he's mostly in Diamond, so he's just changing from the... So the one thing he does gain here, compared to going Sapphire, is the more evasion, and the lore goals are pretty good. But yeah, so tell us about why you decided to go the Diamond Wild there, Geoquake.
Yeah, so like one of the lures was definitely the evasion. Like this deck can generate a pretty good amount of dorks, especially flying dorks, which are the really good type of dorks. And then you have stuff like, I really got to do it in by the Hilltop Monastery, which I think this deck can support pretty well, and it can just generate so much value in the long run, which this deck has while to support the long run. You have you have decent bodies on you have some decent bodies, you have these combat tricks. And yeah, it's also just a kind of like a mid-range / value plan. You defend the board with the wild, and you attack in the air with the diamonds, hopefully generating value from things like Hilltop Monastery or Lord Royal Curator.
Yeah. Cool.
And another big loop was the 2 guidances, which I think are fantastic.
Yeah, guidance is a pretty sweet card. So Champion. So I know you don't know them all, but so we've got Limekiller running for Rico, which is the. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely for Rico.
Definitely for Rico. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So Rico does definitely help with the flyers. Makes them just a lot quicker, or even just a single flyer can potentially take it home if you're able to defend on the ground. So how many flyers overall do you get there? So you've got, what, 3, I think? 3, 4, no, so technically 5, and yeah. Definitely, yeah, so Rico does help if you get like a caller, get something back, and then you get to, yeah, that would be nice there. Nice way to finish. So yeah, overall, pretty nice. So if we compare these 2 decks together, let's just have a look here. So one thing, well, first of all, we have to see, all right, what does the Diamond Wild lack over going, say, Sapphire? The easiest answer to that is the card draw, is the one thing these colors does struggle with. Whereas, Sapphire does have, if we go back over here, we can see that we've got, Consult the Talent, which is one of the best card draw cards in the game. Being able to draw 3 for...
Sapphire is the...
Yeah, I mean, Sapphire is
the main card advantage.
Yes, exactly.
Shard.
Yeah. So that is the one thing. It is only 1 card though, so you might not ever draw it. So it is without that. But the other value.
And if you do want to get value from it, you need to mobilize at least 2 troops, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It shouldn't really be too hard to do that sort of stuff though. In limited, you're generally able to mobilize quite easily. But yeah, so that's the first thing that sticks out there. In terms of removal, let's actually have a look here. So we still got Crossing Swords. We've got a trick here. Well, let's not consider tricks. So we've got Totem Trap and Crossing Swords, and the Double Vanquish, I think, is all of it, and then potentially Rotting Chomp Knight, which can kill artifacts and constants. So in terms of removal, that's it there. So let's go compare with Limekiller.
Totem Trap is pseudo removal.
I said what? Yeah, I said Totem Trap.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear it.
So in terms of what Limekiller has, he's also got the Enlarge, so he's also got the trick, but he's got Shackling Strands, which, if you do go against somebody with Reversion, then Shackling Strands does become weaker, but Evaporate, Pseudo Removal, just a bit more tempo. He's got the Crossing Sword, so he still has those as well. And then the Incubation Webs, which is pretty damn sweet removal, but again, it is something that can be reverted. But you don't see a huge amount of reversion in the Kismet packs. There are the 3-drop flyer with revert. Is there the 1-drop flyer as well? I can't remember, but in this pool we didn't really see any reversion, I don't think, in the 6 packs, but not that that is that relevant. It's all to do with what's there overall, but yeah, so he's got, Incubation Webs is very, very good removal, as it does generate spiders every turn. It's actually, let's see, create, so it just creates 1 spider, but it is at the start of each turn, which is the relevant factor. So it adds up very quickly, especially if you do it on turn 4, and you're able to stall out the game. So in terms of removal, they've both got good removal. I personally like the Sapphire removal probably a bit more. Crossing Swords is an iffy card because it does have the downside of you have to use it on a troop, which then can be responded to. So Crossing Swords, well, if you use it when your opponent's tapped out, then you're fine. And sometimes you'll have to do that if you're worried about what they could have.
The Evaporate, depending on the situation, can create
exactly.
huge swing.
Cards like Evaporate. If your opponent also has Evaporate, if they're in Sapphire, you have to worry about that. If they've just got 1 open and you need to Crossing Swords, you can get blown out quite easily. So yeah, let's before we talk a bit more about those, I guess I'll bring up what I ended up going, because I did do something different as well. So here's mine. I did mine in client before the server went down, but I went for Sapphire Diamond just because I wanted all the removal. So we already saw that Diamond
actually,
had some...
that was after seeing my pool, that was actually the first thing that crossed my mind after sending the link. I hit up gun Sapphire Diamonds, not boasting or anything, but just saying.
Sorry, what? You would have went Sapphire Diamond, or that was the first thing you thought of? Is that
yeah, after thinking a bit while we were talking about it, yeah, Sapphire Diamond was probably the way to go.
Yeah, so the reason why I went Sapphire Diamond is just, well, it had a lot of good cards in both colors. I love Consult the Talon, one of my favorite cards. Just such good value. I love Incubation Webs. I like Shackling Strands. You really like the early drops that the Sapphire also has to offer here. We've got the Infiltrator, which is a spider generator. If that doesn't get answered, you can just add a lot of spiders. You've got Malvoker, which is a generator, and also a lot of actions here. I think there's 9. But then I've also got the Cultivator, which is great defense, but also offense. That also works very well with the Consult the Talon. I also just figured, maybe I would change this card, but I didn't really have that many 2-drops, so I left in the Ilgin there. It's just a 2/2 for 2. That gives you a bit of health. I've got in the Ghost Feather, which is good, and because I can turn one of these Gust Mages, get a free Valor basically, and then hopefully turn a Gust Mage into a flyer.
Yeah.
I get
both.
both.
This way, you get to play both Guidance and Evaporate. Like, what's better than that?
Yeah, so I got both Curators. They're something that we were all laughing about when we opened 2 of them. They're just good quality. And if the game does go late, you will... it also is really good against Wintermoon, as you can use its effect as quick speed.
They give inevitability, which is pretty important in Limited.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we got the Webs, the Double Vanquish, which, I don't necessarily need to run both, but I did decide to do that. I had to build... I would maybe take out 1, put it in the side, but honestly, there wasn't a whole lot. I could go for another flyer if I wanted to. Which the reason I didn't go for the flyer, which was the Cherry Songbird or whatever it's called, Cheery Songbird, I don't know, was because I didn't want to go Goot. Which Goot does work good with that because it then makes it a 4 damage flyer every turn. But I decided I didn't want to go Goot. I would rather go. Now my champion power, which you can't see here, I decided to go Elijah as my charge power, even though I don't have, you know, a huge amount of 2-drops or anything. I do have the ability to get back a Gust Mage if I need to, if that's going to be relevant, or even a Valiant Escort, if that's, you know, I could do that. So I've got enough to get back with Elijah, but the main reason I did it was for Malvoker, because that is a target that in a, you know, limited, you need to kill it. You know, if your opponent plays one of those, you do not want it sitting around if they're, you know, because you have to worry about how many actions they've got in their deck, and every action that is played, it is 3 spiders, which is extremely high amount of spiders just by playing actions. And we've already, as you can see, now, the main reason I went for it was because of the Malvoker alone, because I've got 2 Gust Mages, so they're both actions, right? So that's 2 actions, that's 6 spiders right there, if I have a Malvoker on the board. I got the double Guidance, I got the Evaporate, and then we got Hilltop Monastery generating actions as well. And then we got cheap removal with Totem Trap, we got Shackling Strands. So enough actions to warrant that, and that was the reason why I didn't go something like Ada, which is double Phantoms in the air. I decided I want the Malvoker because the spiders are just going to be way more valuable in the long run, as you just get a critical mass if you can keep that Malvoker around. So that's why I went for that. I then also put double Spiritualist in there, and there was a Primal Prism, so I put that in as well, just because it allows me to, you know, if I've got my thresholds, double Sapphire, double Diamond, which actually I don't need double Diamond, so as long as I've got double Sapphire and 1 Diamond, I can then use that Prism to just get any other color to make the Midnight Spiritualist a bit better if they die. Now, there was also a Diamond Wild Shard in the pool. I probably would have thrown that in there as well, just to, you know, make these guys even better, the 2 Spiritualists. But yeah, so overall I just, you know, so let's actually count the removal here. So in terms of removal, I've got Totem Trap. Treacherous Pass, in a way, is kind of removal, you know, against troops that have 1 damage, and, you know, it stops spiders and stops a lot of stuff, as we saw potentially if you're watching my stream earlier. That can be a very annoying card, the Treacherous Pass, and it does also synergize with my Cultivator, but sadly no other Diligence to speak of to really make it even better for these. But so yeah, then we got Evaporate, which is again just pseudo removal, but can be, you know, very good against stuff where your opponent's trying to do things like Predatory Prey and Crossing Swords and things like that, or even just double blocks if you're the one who's on the offense. But so we got Totem Trap, Shackling Strands. Sorry, go ahead.
Like, if this was my version of the deck, I like the only change I probably do would be cut one of the Spiritualists and add a second Evaporate, just because the ceiling on the tempo hit is just so insane.
Yeah, I mean, Evaporate is a really good card, and you can use it to save a Malvoker while adding spiders, get it back on the board, and keep that going. You know, you can use it to save stuff. You know, it is a target troop. You know, I can't actually zoom in on it, sadly. Let me actually just make this a little bit bigger. I guess that doesn't really matter, but yeah. So Evaporate...
Very flex card.
Yeah, very flexible card, exactly. I was tempted to run both, but I figured one main deck would be fine. I generally don't want to run too much, because you still need to get, you know, your threats and stuff on the board. But I mean, it does, you know,
it's overrated.
It's with this deck, it's definitely viable to run both, because I could always, you know, if I needed to, I could chump with a Gust Mage, put it back in my hand to get another Valor and make something better that may change the situation. But yeah, so in terms of removal, so we had Totem Trap, Shackling, Double Vanquish, and Webs, and then you've still got that card draw. So what do you guys think now that we've looked at all 3? Well, let me bring up the others again. Wait, where's that gone? Why is that not working? Give me a second. Doesn't want to capture the window. Now it's just a black screen. What's going on? Alright, let me try redo this and try and fix it. Or fix it. So yeah, so what do you guys think? Would you stick with what you went with? Is there anything you would change?
I might, though, again, like I said, I seriously would consider Wintermoon instead of Furico because of the, like you said, the value of cycling the actions through the deck repeatedly and putting those through the Malvoker.
Yeah. Yeah, Malvoker's... I really love that card. I mean, yes, it's double Sapphire, so it is tricky to get it down on turn 2. But yeah, once you get it down and you just start playing... 3 spiders every action is pretty ridiculous. very much like that card. Sorry, I'm just
the
trying
one thing,
to...
as Shanazar mentioned in chat, your deck is a little bit troop light. It's only got 12 in it, and you can get a couple phantoms each when the spiritualists die. But if you're not generating the spiders, you're having real trouble with troops in there, and you've only got one thing with... You've got the 2 Lorgoyles and the Duskwing that have reasonably sized defenses to actually block anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I normally don't mind too much having like a light troop count when I have just, you know, decent removal. Like, you know, I've got the webs that can jet spiders. And yes, the Malvoker, if it dies twice, then I'm going to be in a little bit more trouble, of course. But that's, you know, another reason for going Elijah, because that basically is another troop. But yeah, making sure I get that, you know, Malvoker or whatever I need at the time. Obviously, if I don't get Malvoker...
Yeah, or if somebody does Bring to Justice or Decree on it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But yeah, I still liked, you know, like, yeah, Wild had a bit more than I thought it did, because I discounted it probably a bit too early. Because, yeah, going Wild Sapphire and just going Wintermoon is sometimes just the better choice, because you're literally just getting to play everything again and again and again. So you're running more than just, you know, one incubation webs. Now you've got incubation webs and incubation webs and incubation webs and incubation webs and shackling strands and all that. So, you know, Wintermoon, sometimes it is correct. Let me just, sorry, I'm just capturing this again. So, honestly,
at that point.
out of this pool, I think going Wintermoon may be better. Let me actually just have a quick look at this again. So let's bring that damn capture. Alright, so let's so yeah, in terms of Sapphire Wild, which is what you've got here. So if we look at Sapphire Wild, take out the Spring Renewal. I mean, the double Evaporate are really good when you're bouncing. You've still got... So the As of Fang Hierarch, I didn't... You know, I don't know if I would run it. I guess it's not horrible. You do have Cultivator, Infiltrator, Malvoker. Does he have any others? I don't think so. So it's kind of...
Cultivator.
Yeah, I said that one. So there's 4 total, right? 4 total Venom?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So, I mean, not too bad, obviously. In a lot of situations, I think it is going to be kind of... well, I mean, I guess even if you just have one Venom in play, it's not the worst, or if you play one afterwards. But yeah, if you are Wintermoon, then it does make more sense to have it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, Wintermoon might actually be the right choice, just because, again, it is ridiculously good value. Let's have a look at mine again. So let's just do that. So...
Yeah, and like I said, if I was Wintermoon, I'd pull the Spring Renewal and put in probably another Sapphire Shard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the thing, you know, the color I liked the most was the Sapphire, just because, you know, Consult the Talent is ridiculously good. It has really good low drops, and again, Malvoker is a ridiculously good card. Lorgoyle Curators, they're decent flying. You know, 2/4 is pretty good, but, I mean, I don't care that much about them, because they are still something if you don't want to really do the things early anyway. Like, you don't want to put stuff in your deck early if you've only got 3 shards, because you don't want to have to use a shard, use a resource early to then get to a real card, to something you need to play, because then you might be interrupting your curve. So it's not something you'd be using early. It is a late game ability. You know, when you've played everything, you're alright, I need to just start getting an alternate win condition. And the Vanquishers can be iffy as well, so I wouldn't be too sad losing those. The Midnight Spiritualists, they're decent, but slow. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the more I look at this now, like, because the Diamond is alright, but really it's the Sapphire, the one that Sapphire I love. Who doesn't love Sapphire, right? Who doesn't love drawing cards and the value that Sapphire has to offer? But I do actually think that...
Sapphire gets the most awesome standard deck to play right now, which is Turbo Ascension.
Yeah, I mean, Psychic Ascension is a very, very good card. But, yeah, honestly, I think I actually would. Now that I look at this again and just really what Diamond has to offer, Like, it's some good cards. I think it still would do well, but you cannot discount the value that is Wintermoon. So, yeah. And honestly, it's not like Wild is actually lacking as much as I thought it was. There's some decent cards in there. The Chomp Knight does help quite a lot. Chomp Knight is a very good card, because it's a very big beater, but also the value of being able to kill artifacts and constants is pretty damn good. And Igralaki is a fantastic card, which can give you some pretty dirty stuff. So, but you could always... I guess we could also do track color. We could. That is something to consider as well. Splashing for low royals.
No, we can't.
There's always the conscripted infinitrix plan.
Because I think there was a Diamond Wild Shard, so you could potentially splash for some cards, but I don't think it's needed. But yeah, I think looking at it again, I probably would go to Wintermoon. Just because, like, I love Wintermoon. Who doesn't love Wintermoon, right? It's just such a good charge power, and being able to
I have no idea about champions, so I can't love her.
So, are you not familiar with Wintermoon?
I have no idea.
Wintermoon is you need 1 Sapphire and 1 Wild Threshold. Takes 2 charges, and you get to pick 2 cards that are in your crypt, put them back in your deck, and each one of them now gets additional text of when you play this, draw a card.
That's pretty decent value. No.
So basically every action you play, you can cycle back into your deck and eventually draw it again, and when you play it this time, you'll draw a card, and then you can do Wintermoon again and put it back in the deck.
Like, it's obviously a good ability. It's just a good defensive plan because it seems pretty slow.
Oh, yes, you're not going to get if you're lucky, you can get the value quickly, but it's a case of inevitability. You will just, if you keep dragging the game on, you will win through a war of attrition. Your opponent will just, they say they have a bomb and you deal with it, and you can just get, we got like incubation webs, fantastic card to get back. If you just keep webbing them, they're going to just keep getting spiders. You will, just keep the game. You'll put your opponent at a severe disadvantage. Like if they're not Wintermoon, you just get ahead. The longer the game goes, the better it is for you. It's a very, very good charge power. Sorry, I'm just trying to capture this window again because it bugged out again. I don't know why, but this is really weird. So Gio, are you happy with what you went with, or would you change? Because I think I would. I think I would actually go Wintermoon. What about you?
I think I built a pretty decent deck. I think it's about on par with what Lime has, but on a second thought, I would change it to Sapphire Diamond, just because I think that even though it's more light unit, it can fall to more hyper aggressive decks. The overall value and the overall tempo you get is definitely higher than the other 2 options. This is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those situations where both the other decks have decent floor and pretty good ceiling, and the Sapphire Diamond has pretty decent floor, maybe a bit under the 2, but the ceiling's just insane.
Yeah, I still like the Sapphire Diamond. So if I bring that up again, don't bug out. It bugged out again. I stopped I was like, that's so weird.
Server's up online, actually.
Oh, that's
already.
cool. That is cool. I'll have to log back in later. But so the Sapphire Diamond here, again, it does hinge a decent amount on the Malvoker doing some work, but with the Elijah to get it back does help, and it does have enough flyers and card draw and all that. But I don't know. I really love Wintermoon, so I'm easily swayed to Wintermoon, to be honest. But I think they are both.
Well, gotta keep loyal. Gotta keep loyal to your waifus.
Yeah, I think they are both very viable. Even your Diamond Wild. So your Diamond Wild, I think it would hinge a bit too much on Fariko, which means if you have to, the one downside to that is if you're in a position where you have to trade your troops and all that sort of stuff, you might not have enough of troops left to really get, because you don't have the card draw that the Sapphire has to offer. So getting, if you're in a situation where you're trading your troops back and forth, and then eventually you get to 7, you've got maybe 2 troops on the board, that might not be enough to get you back in the game, or just get you enough to finish it off even. But I mean, it does have the flyers, so and it can you can get in a situation where just a flyer with Furiko on it with enough ground defense can punch it out. But yeah, I think we've all done. Go ahead.
Flyers have and always will be at least a decent level limited strategy.
Well, yeah, I mean it's evasion. It's not just flies. It's evasion. That's why Malvoker to me is such a dangerous card, and it's something that has to be dealt with because 3 spiders every action is a ridiculous amount of spiders, and spiders are very good, and that's why. Also, I guess if you were to go with Limekiller with your Sapphire Wild for Rico. If you just get a couple spiders, if you would stay with Furiko, those spiders now will be turned into 3/3 unblockables when you get that charge power. So even if you only had 1 or 2, that can change your game very easily. So they all these colors have pros and cons. Obviously, the cons of the Diamond Wild is the lack of card advantage. Whereas the Sapphire has the card advantage thanks to Consult the Talon. You've also got the Malvoker and the Incubation Webs. These are all cards that can get a lot of advantage. The Diamond is getting the loyal late game plan, the flyers with Ethereal Caller, Ghost Feather, and all that. So Ethereal Caller does make Furiko better as well. There's a lot of viable things here, and honestly, it's tough to say which is the best. I think it all obviously comes down to. I think honestly still Wintermoon obviously has the advantage in terms of games that go long. If games going past turn, say 7, Wintermoon is going to probably outshine the rest just because of what Wintermoon does. The Sapphire Diamond doesn't really have the best aggression, but it's not horrible because you do have the Escort, you've got some Gust Mages you can buff up, and you've got Treacherous Pass and Hilltop Monastery also do give you late game stuff, and the Treacherous Pass can turn off other troops on your opponent, turning off spiders and all that sort of stuff is nice. In terms of the Sapphire Wild, I mean that again still has a lot of the good stuff. But yeah, Wintermoon is, and it makes the double evaporate better as well if you go Wintermoon. Because the thing with Wintermoon, right, is you're saying it can be slow to really get that to see what it does, to get that advantage from it. But if you've got a lot of low cost stuff, especially things like the Eager Lackey, the Evaporates, things that you're going to be using and they're going to be in the crypt quickly. Like the Lackey is going to go there very quick because you're happy to trade it off with anything to then put it back in your deck. Because getting back 1 cost cards that draw you a card, and especially things like Eager Lackey. That then gives you another 4-drop is yum yum yum. But so I think they all have a lot to offer, and honestly, there's no wrong choice there. I think though I still would go with the Wintermoon. So those of you who are watching on YouTube, feel free to comment that what you would go. Maybe you would go something completely different. Who knows? But feel free to comment with that. So yeah, any final thoughts on the sealed pool here from either of you?
That I wish instead of that pool I would get Neo's pool from the class yesterday.
Do you have a screenshot of that? Let me I guess I can probably pull it up. I'll have a quick look. So how about those of you in chat right now? What would you go? What would everyone in the chat right now? Would you go with Wintermoon? Would you go with Sapphire Diamond? What is you going? For Rico? My hate for Sapphire is strictly constructed. So Sweet Baxter says he'd play the Sapphire Diamond Split Shard. Replace the Rot Root. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Tricolor is also an option. Like, it is an option. There was enough fixing. I personally wouldn't. I don't do Tricolor. Like, I stay clear because I just don't. I want to keep the consistency. Yeah, and like honestly, with this pool, while it is a viable option. Generally, you should really, in my opinion, go Tricolor only when you really need to. If you've got, we got enough playables in Sapphire Diamond and Diamond Wild. Whichever mix you want to do, there's enough playables. There's no like really terrible card that you're putting in just to fill out your slots. So I don't think going Tricolor in that scenario. Yeah, well, filling to get enough playables. Yeah. So what I'll quickly do here. Yeah, so as I said, I think I would go to Wintermoon. Just again, it's just I love that champion. So yeah, any other thoughts from you guys? Limekiller, anything? Geo, nothing. All right,
Nope.
all good. So yeah, so what were you guys' final decisions then? What were you sticking with? So you were changing to what, Geoquake?
I would change to Sapphire.
Sapphire Diamond, right? And then Limekiller, you were going to change to Wintermoon, or were you going to stick with Fariko?
I'd either stay with what I have or go Wintermoon. I might well go to Wintermoon. Shanazar pointed out that there's really not a ton of Dreadling generation, so trying to depend on that with the explosive Fariko stuff can backfire. So Wintermoon just might be better value.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember what. I guess we can have a quick look. But, because, yeah, we wouldn't run, if I was to go into the Sapphire Wild, I wouldn't run the, what was that card? The, I guess we'll see it here in a second.
Spring Renewal.
Yeah, Spring Renewal. So what would we bring in for that is the question. Let me quickly...
Well, right now in that deck I have 16 shards, so
I would
if
still...
I was going to go...
I would probably still stick with 16 shards. I hate flooding more than anything. But honestly, if you're Wintermoon, it doesn't hurt that much. But, I mean, I did see one card just now that I wouldn't be sad playing, because I've got the packs back up again. What was the card I just saw? I've already forgotten. I'll have to wait for it to cycle. So let's see, this pack we already had all the good stuff. We've got, so Stormdrummer. Stormdrummer, there, I would put that in, there you go. Stormdrummer's a good one.
Yeah, that'd be fine. In Wintermoon,
yeah, it's good. You know, if you hit one good troop, then that's now a troop that you can put back in. So that's very good for Wintermoon. Windborn Savant isn't horrible. But what was that first card? Let me go back and see that real quick. And let's see if there's... So Flourishing Growth, I wouldn't really bother with either. Suffocate is another thing in sideboard. Apprentice is an option depending on how many actions, but I probably wouldn't bother. I think the Stormdrummer is... Yeah, so Lullaby is also an option. But I think I'd just do Stormdrummer.
Yeah, Lullaby is something I'd sideboard in if I really needed to. Same with Vine Lash and Nature Rain.
Yeah, I would bring in Lullaby if I needed a way to just revert stuff, while also just potentially being able to, I'll attack you, you attack back, and I can just stop the damage. But if your opponent has a lot of stuff where they're doing a lot of buffs and all that sort of stuff, then bring it in even just to revert stuff is perfectly valid. But yeah, so that was those packs, and that was the decks that we would have all made. So thank you, Limekiller and Geoquake, for joining me for the first episode.
Howdy ho.
Our pleasure.
So again, for those of you watching live or watching on YouTube, this will be happening each week. I'll have new guests on. If you're someone who would like to join me, I have a forum thread that I'll link in the YouTube comments that you can just post in the thread. Let me know that you're interested in joining on the stream to participate. Everyone who does participate will get a little present from me as thanks. So you guys can expect some stuff later. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, thank you all. Thank you all for watching. Comment in the YouTube comments with what you would have built, or anything that, if you agree with us in terms of, myself going to the Wintermoon. Who do you agree with the most, or what deck do you like the most? Feel free to comment, or even link your own build that you would have done with this sealed pool. So again, yeah, thank you all, and I'll see you all next week. Flibbity floobs.